Hello and welcome back to the When You're podcast, the podcast for when you're doing anything. Today we are going to be talking about when you're in the new year. Happy 2023, everybody. I can't believe we made it through 2022. I did so many things like starting this podcast in 2022 that I was really excited about doing, and I didn't know how long I was going to be able to do it for. I hoped I would keep on doing it, but it's really cool that I'm able to like really keep doing this and to just have fun, not think about it too much. And towards the end of the year, I was more of like, should I record myself on video or not? Should I just like enjoy the movie and like the commentary tracks and stuff? And I felt like I really enjoyed just watching the movie, not having to worry about like, oh, does the camera look right here or does it not? I felt like that was a big part of like, do I care about it? Do I not? And I do care about it, but it's just kind of like, let me just enjoy it and let me talk freely. And I like that a lot. So talking about 2023, New Year's Eve. So last year, I guess a couple of days ago, I suppose, I was really looking forward to New Year's Eve. I was like, this is going to be it. This is going to be the end of the year, and it's all going to keep on flowing into 2023, all of the good stuff. And that's true so far, you know what I'm saying? But then I was thinking about like, what about other people? I like thinking about like other scenarios for holidays, because it's interesting to like put little fake scenarios in my head or whatnot, like when I go to sleep, or like just thinking about other things that makes me, like storytelling wise, it's fun for me to think of that stuff. So I was thinking, and I was looking over on social media, is like all of everybody's New Year's Eve is so different depending on what you look at, right? Because there was this one where these parents, it was New Year's Eve. It's December 31st, right? They're watching a pre-recorded version of New Year's Eve. So they're doing the whole countdown. They're counting down. They're going to say Happy New Year and everything, right? And the kids are screaming. They're jumping for joy. And the parents are like, yeah, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. And the kids are, they're jumping 3, 2, 1, Happy New Year. Ah! Everybody's giving each other hugs. They're just like big blessings, a lot of love. They're screaming. And then the parents turn their camera over to another phone, and it's like 7:48 at night. And it's just like, I've never thought about how the parents need to get the kids to sleep at a certain time without letting them stay up all night, so that way they can sleep and get some rest themselves, And I thought that was so funny. It was so, I mean, when they watch it, when they grow up, it'll be hilarious. But like in that moment, it's like, yes, that's a parent win, That's a victory. And I wonder who, because I don't think they're well, maybe they are. Maybe they're just the first one to show it. I was going to say they're not the first person to come up with that concept, that idea, right? Tricking the kids into thinking one thing, but it's actually another. But it's so interesting to see that like maybe another family or other parents will let their kids stay up until midnight, or what are the levels to it? Like when they're that young, it's easy to trick them. But as they get older and older, like they look to be around like 5, 6 years old. They're really young. They don't know. But then wait until they get like 11 and 10. You know what I'm saying? When they get a little older, then it's going to be like, okay, it's coming down. And they're like, what are you talking about? They pull out their iPhone and they're looking at it. And they're like, what are you talking about? It's only 8 o'clock. They're like, darn, why do we give them a phone for Christmas? Or why do we do this? Or like, they're too smart now. Now they're staying up all night. They're being loud and crazy and eating too much sugar and chips. And you're just like, gosh, what's going on? And then you got to look at it from, not just from the parent side. You got to look at it from the other's perspective. It's the kids, right? And when I was a kid, New Year's Eve was just kind of like, it was cool, Don't get me wrong, it was like I knew what was happening. I knew that, like, oh, finally, we're getting a new year. We're going to have to change everything. But I thought that when you ended the year, like, school starts over again. Like, you go to the next grade. Because it just seems so definitive, right? But then they get you back doing the same old, same old. It was like, well, I thought this was new. I thought this was a new year. I thought it meant a new school year. I get into the next grade. Like, it felt like a whole new thing was happening. But I don't get it. I don't know why it has to be like you start in the fall. I don't know. I feel like if you started in the spring and then all the way to the end, then it's like a whole new beginning. But it's actually just more of the same old, same old. But, I grew to love it. I grew to enjoy it. And, like, there's nothing wrong with the same old, but it just puzzled me as a kid. So when you think about the kids, right, when they're very little and they're like, it's New Year's Eve, we're going to party, we're going to see fireworks, we're going to do the whole thing, right? They're just watching it on TV. Imagine if they were waiting for the actual fireworks to go off. Or how about this? The kids go to sleep, right? They're like, oh, it's the new year. Great. They go to sleep, right? They pass out. Then 5 hours later, it's actually midnight. And then your neighbors are fireworks galore, right? And then your kids wake up. They're like, what's going on? I heard gunshots. Somebody dying. It's explosions out there. And they're just like, no. Go back to sleep. You're not missing anything. And then they look at the clock and they're like, it's midnight. I thought that was supposed, then they get out of the lie. They get tricked. I guess it really depends on your neighbors. Because my neighbors, they huge fireworks, right? Big bangs. But if you're a kid, like, okay, let's say you're a kid and you go to a New Year's Eve party. If you leave, you know that the new year hasn't started. Or what if you get into a big party, right? And then everybody tricks you into believing something so that way the parents can go home. That would be cool too. So it's just like all of these parents get together and they're like, listen, we're going to have to leave early. We're going to have to do the countdown at like 8, 9 p.m. just so we can get home and we can sleep. And then all the parents are like, yeah. Sounds good. I like that plan. So they all get together and they're like, all right, so we're going to play the thing. And then when it goes off, everybody's going to count down and then the kids are going to believe it. And then we're going to celebrate a little bit. And then we're going to walk away. We're going to go home, right? That should be another video idea. Like all of these parents just tricking their kids, like a big family tricking the little kids into going, into believing that it's New Year's when it actually isn't. That should be the next thing. Because that was just one family in a controlled environment. Let's see if we take them out of that, if they can handle it, if they can be as deceitful. Because when you control it, right, when you're an adult with kids, right, a parent, when you can control the environment, you can get your kids to believe anything. You can get them to believe Santa Claus. You see the people like putting powdered sugar over their boots and whatnot. Like you get them to really, really think about it. And when you get them to really think about it, also, no spoilers. Santa Claus is real, kids, but it's just like he doesn't leave footprints all the time. So what happens is your parents will kind of like leave boot prints so that way it looks like, you know what I'm saying? Like just a little something to remind you he was there. You know what I mean? Without him actually being there. Does that make sense? Yeah. But he's definitely real. He's definitely there. So he sees you when you're sleeping. He knows when you're awake. But we'll get to that later next December. We're done. We're past that. And then the final step of, well, hold on, back it up. Kids, if you can control what they see, then they'll believe it, right? But as they get older, the manipulation and the kind of like deceit wears off. So if you're a parent and you can convince that later on as they get older, outside of what they know, that it's New Year's big thing, then I'll be like, yo, that's respect. Because, when you're an adult, or, a young adult, I guess, like a teenager, whatever, New Year's Eve is like a whole new thing. You're spending a bunch of money for an experience that's very small, very limited. You're hanging out, you're making friends, you're doing all this other stuff. So it's really, really important, New Year's Eve, I think, because it's like this big moment. You're getting older and older. The world has revolved around again. You're starting from the bottom, just trying to get some glory, some love. And it's during that moment that I feel like, especially my generation, I guess, we find it so fun. It's definitely a big celebration. Like we made it through another year. And I don't know, I mean, I guess it never really wears off. Everybody loves New Year's Eve. That's why we celebrate it, and families celebrate it, and adults, parents and whatnot. But there's levels to it, right? There are the parents that want to stay inside. They're the ones that want to go outside. They're the ones that have like fully grown kids, who have like gone out and done their own thing. And then there's the parents that are still like raising their kids and stuff. So it's kind of whatever you want to make of it. And that's what's so cool about it, is it can be whatever you want it to be. It's not like Christmas. You know how Christmas is like this one specific thing, but New Year's Eve is really about, what do you want to make it? What is it that you want to make special? And it's kind of like a rebirth of July 4th, really. Not the independence part, but more so of like the fireworks. I'm thinking, you could barbecue, you can yeah, that's about it. I mean, you could wear the American flag if you want for New Year's Eve, but all I'm trying to say is that it's kind of like this big deal that matters to just about everybody, because it is the new year. What am I even saying anymore? What I'm trying to get at here is that when you're my age, when you're young and you're just like getting on, starting your life, the New Year's Eve part is so sad but happy at the same time. It's a full mix of emotions because so much has happened. You made it through so much, and it feels like last year honestly felt like this. It felt like it went by so quick. It felt like you're just like, you can really remember last year's Christmas, or you could remember last year's summer party, or this thing or that thing. Like, it's just so vivid, so quick, and it feels like a blur. And then the next thing you know, it's like, what? It's September already? We're still trying to recover from 2020, But so much has happened in those last 2 years, that it's important. And just this last year also, it's just like so much matters. And I think we carry ourselves with more of a hope that things will get better. Even though we've seen just how much we've been beaten throughout these last couple of years. So that's why I felt like this year was really a lot more special. And I felt this sense of like, okay, it's fresh. Before, I didn't really, not that I didn't think of it as fresh, but it was more of like, it's just the same old. But now, this year, I guess my look on it is like, that moment when you get into the shower and the water first hits you, and you're like, oh, this is going to be a good shower. Like, I needed this cleanse. That's what I feel this year. And it feels good. And I'm ready to soak it all in this new year, and to really do the most with what time I have. And I hope you feel the same way. And leading into the New Year's resolutions. Now, I always forget New Year's resolutions, and sometimes it just comes to me on a whim. And whenever I think about New Year's resolutions, I think about kind of like, what is it I want to do for any particular moment? So for me to schedule for the whole year is a big commitment. And it's not that I'm incapable of it. It's more so of like, what is it that I can knowingly do over and over and over again? And that's what I feel like this podcast is. One of my New Year's resolutions is to continue this podcast. I really enjoy making this. I think it's so funny when I listen back to my audio, and I get so cringe sometimes at the things that I say, but I'm like, I'm glad I put that out there, or that thought or that feeling or that opinion, just for fun, just for me. If nothing else, this podcast is just for me. And sometimes I'll listen to me talking and I'll be like, why do I sound like that? I'll probably feel that way listening back to this, or understanding why I was talking about that or this. But this podcast is just for fun. It's for me. And I appreciate everybody who listens. I really do. It means so much to me. And that was such a heartwarming feeling over the holidays and for New Year's Eve, that like I did something. No matter how close to the end of the year I was of like starting it, I did it. I started it and I accomplished something. And I was really, really happy with that. I was very, very proud of that. So thank you. Thank you to everybody. And to everybody who watches on YouTube. It means a lot. So with this year's New Year's resolution, it's more of like, it's fresh, but we're going to keep on moving forward. We're going to continue doing what we do best. And that's this podcast. And we're just going to keep on having fun. That's my whole thing with this. That's my only reason for doing this. It's definitely not about the money, but it's about putting this out there into the world, and those who like it. Those who don't, well, you're not going to be everybody's favorite. So it's really cool. And I guess other resolutions are like, be healthy, stay good, peaceful, and have fun, enjoy yourself. You take some of the weight off of my back and live a little. Don't be so tight. Don't be such a stick in the mud. You got to kind of break out every now and then, no matter if you feel embarrassed or not. So I guess that's another one. Don't be so embarrassed. Nobody cares. Nobody's going to care about it, and eventually you'll die and you'll want to know that you did something. Like, is this podcast embarrassing? Probably. Yes, it's probably very embarrassing. But when I'm on my deathbed, I'm not going to be like, darn, I really wish I didn't do that podcast. I'm going to be like, hey, I did the podcast and people liked it, people didn't. And it just kind of like, but I did it. It's great that I have this piece of myself in this period of time. And it's a beautiful moment. And so I'm never going to be like, yeah, I regret doing this, because I don't. This is really a special thing for me, and I enjoy doing it. And with that, other people's New Year's resolutions, I guess the big one for everybody is just like, get money, do your own thing, be good at it, become the best. Like, everybody wants something. Everybody wants to better themselves. And that's why I like New Year's resolutions. And some people are kind of like dismissive of it. They're like, if you want to change your life, you're going to do it no matter what, or like any time of the year. But I'm like, yeah, but this is for sure a guaranteed fresh, clean slate. Nothing to really, if there's any time to change, it's now. You know what I mean? And I get what they're saying. It's like, if you really want to change, you're going to change no matter what time it is, what day it is. You could have done it on the 31st of December. You could have changed, But I don't know. I feel like never doubt the resolution, and it's always about bettering yourself. It's never about like, how can I ruin my year? And even if you do, you still got the rest of it to do your best, you know? That's what matters. How do I say this? You get rid of last year's failures when the clock strikes 12. Everything that happened last year happened last year. It's over. All of the things that you thought you failed at, they're done. You failed at them, but now you get something fresh, something clean, something new. And last year's failure is today's success. This year, you can win. This time, you can succeed. This time, there's hope. There's a chance that you can redo it. And that's what I like. It's just kind of this failure to success story. And you really get to put the past behind you. It's like The Lion King. You know, Rafiki, he hit Simba. I'm going to just tell you what happens in the movie. So spoilers, don't listen to this if you haven't watched The Lion King. And I mean the animated good version, not the live action version. Don't watch that. Watch the actual animated Lion King, because that's the best one. But in The Lion King, spoilers, again, just in case you didn't hear me the first time. So Rafiki, boom, hits Simba in the head, right? And Simba's like, ow, what's your problem, Rafiki? Why would you do that? He's like, it doesn't matter. It's in the past. And he's like, well, yeah, but it still hurts. He's like, yes, the past can hurt. But the way I see it, you can either run from it or learn from it. He swings again, he dodges it. And then he's like, so what are you going to do? And he says, first, I'm going to take your stick, and then he's going to run towards his past. He has to confront it. He has to face it. And that's a moment that, I mean, I don't think about that moment often, but it's something to ponder whenever I get to thinking about it sometimes, you know? Especially now with the new year coming forward, it's when you fail, you always learn something. When you succeed, I think you also learn something, but you know, you don't seek to improve it. If it works once, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. If you keep on winning and you keep on doing your best without having the need to escalate, you're never gonna get to the next level, to the highest caliber of yourself. And I think about it to like restaurants. If you've ever seen, not if you've ever seen a restaurant, if it wasn't for competition between restaurants wanting to become better than the next, then we wouldn't have, the restaurants that we have now that offer certain quality and certain things that matter to people. Like imagine going to a restaurant with no forks or knives or spoons or anything. You just show up and you're like, what's going on? They're like, you have to bring your own forks and spoons and knives. And they're like, what? And we don't have napkins, so deal with that as well. And you're just like, what are you talking about? So it's all handheld food? No. You'll still have to cut into your steak, but you just won't have the tools to do it. They're like, what's going on here? I'll just go to another restaurant that does sell that. And then the other company's like, oh snap, we failed. That was not what we didn't expect that. Okay, guess we're going to have to, they learn and they get it. They're like, they actually want forks and knives and spoons. And the same thing with the end of last year. All of those past failures, you're just going to be like, yo, I learned this. Like if you planned a summer trip, right? And then if it turns out to be a big disaster, you're like, oh, we messed up so badly. Now you can be like, all right, we're planning the trip again, but this time we're going to get a rental car. We're going to do this. We're going to book it here, not there. We're going to do it at this hotel. We're going to check in early. We're going to do everything perfectly this time so you can enjoy it and really have fun. Stuff like that, moments that matter to you, you can fix or improve. And that's what learning from last year is about. It kind of, when they predicted that the world was going to blow up in 2012, and they were talking about the calendars, they were like, according to I think it was the Mayan calendar, they were like, according to this calendar, they said that the world's going to end on this day. And I was like, how can we believe that calendar? Our calendar is correct, right? How do you compare? How do you know? And they're just like, we know. And so I was kind of thinking to myself, I was like, how do we know we're in the correct time? I mean, this is just everybody thinks about this, right? Like, we could be totally living a lie. But right now, my calendars all say it's January. But what if it's really still December? What if it's December, 35, December 35th? You know what I'm saying? And then we just, came up with January out of nowhere. We made this complete timetable. We have no idea if we're right. All that matters are the seasons, doesn't it? That's all that matters, isn't it? It's just, it's cold or it's warm and it's full of pollen in the air and there are flowers and it's hot and then it gets everything dies. But then it comes back, it's just, you can never tell. You never know for sure. So that's why I question it. I'm like, is that right? Probably not. But who knows? And we made it this far. We're not falling down yet. Even though, 2020 completely, that was just a swift kick in the balls. That was just, oh my gosh. That was, can you believe what we've been through? It's crazy. So, all that I'm trying to say is our calendar correct? There's no way to tell. There's no way to know. We just have to believe that somebody made somebody got a stone, right? Somebody got a stone and they started carving in. They're like, day 1. Day 2 will be tomorrow when the sun comes up. Day 3 will be when and then they put it and then it'll be a full moon. Then it'll be a half moon. And then it'll be no moon. So it's kind of like this understanding of time is passing by, but we just don't know if the days are correct, if the hours are right. But I guess, the sun really helps spell it out for us. When it's light outside, you go out there and you do your work. When it goes down, time to sleep. That's not a bad system, but it's just kind of like, how do we know? What if we were meant to work in the dark? What if it was actually meant that we were supposed to work 9 to 5 p.m. to a.m., not a.m. to p.m.? You know what I'm saying? What if that was the way it was meant to be? I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. All that I want to tell you is that this calendar could be completely fake, but I'm buying it. They got me. I've been following along this timetable forever now, and I guess, I don't want it to change. These people already have the next 20 years planned out. Even more. You look on your phone through the calendar app or whatever, and they already got every single year down to the day you die on that calendar. And it's like, you guys they're already so far ahead. They already know what's going to happen. They know that day is going to come. They know the sun's going to go up, the sun's going to go down. They know that what lunar period or lunar thing it'll be, right? They know what shape the moon will be. It's all planned out. It's already known. But the unexpected is us. We don't know who's going to become the next big thing, or who's really going to pop or be the new sensation, or really going to do something amazing. That's kind of the thing. We don't know when this person is coming out with an album, or this person's coming out with a movie. But we kind of do. They give us release dates, right? They tell you. It's like Marvel. They give you like a timetable. They're like, this movie's coming out this time, and then this movie and this TV show and this and this and that. Right? They give you a little slot, but it's only so far. You know, they don't know how long. And so 2023, there's so much coming our way. I feel like everybody, like all musical artists, are going on tour. Like there's not a single musical artist I don't know that's not going on tour. Cause you got Taylor Swift, I think Drake, Ed Sheeran, trying to think here. I mean, you know what? I got all the big ones. SZA. She just released her album. She's going out in 2023. Beyonce going on tour in 2023. I mean, you just feel it. You just know that like so many people are working. So many people are putting music out. So many people are like, now it's time to spread it. And it feels, and Ticketmaster really has a hold on everybody. And there's also big movies. They got the Ant-Man movie coming out. They got Guardians of the Galaxy coming out, which I'm really excited for. I mean, there's so much happening this year. I'm so excited to watch and to see it all go down. But my feeling about it is just kind of like it's going to come and then it's going to go. And I don't know if like the hype will deliver, if that makes sense. Like, because then you're gonna notice it, right? You're gonna see it. You're gonna understand that everybody's gonna go on this big like I'm going on tour moment or whatnot. But I guess they really do that when the album comes out. They don't do that when. Yeah, they rarely, if ever. But all I'm trying to say is that they try to tell you this is what's gonna come. This is what's gonna happen. It feels like so much of it is happening this year. Feels like so much has like been planned already. Because one thing about these like big media personalities is they already plan in advance. They're like, I know I'm going to do this year or this month or this week, and I'm going to have a busy schedule and I'm going to be working here and there and doing this and doing that. And you're just kind of like, what? Like, I don't even know what I'm eating for breakfast. But you already know like the next step in your business plan or in your life. And it feels so different. It feels like, you know, maybe you're not where you want to be, but in actuality, you're going to get there. And I guess that's kind of something cool that they have, is that like that knowing that they're going to get something, they're going to accomplish something on a certain day, on a certain time. They're going to do things really, really cool. As opposed to like, I guess, regular people who just stick to their regular old jobs. So, what I'm trying to get at here is that I'm excited for 2023. A lot of things are happening. A lot of big things are going down for myself and for like things that I enjoy. And when it all goes down, when it all happens, it's going to be like, I really do feel the excitement. I think the excitement, the hype, is really going to drive me. It's really going to lift me up. It's going to make me feel stronger than ever. I'm going to be like, yes, yes. And when obviously there are going to be disappointments this year, but when they happen, I'm going to be like, oh, but we got something else coming. You know, there's always going to be the next thing for me, I think. So I think for me, this year, 2023, is really, really going to be about just enjoying things, just being happy with what's put out into the world and taking it in and then giving some of it back through this podcast. That's what, you know, it's mostly for fun, but it's also putting back out some good energy, some good vibes, I suppose. And with that excitement, there's with this level of excitement, you kind of feel a natural urge to get something done. Have you ever felt that moment where it's like you're so excited that you could do anything. You really get pumped up. You're getting to that moment where it's like I could lift 10 cars right now. And it's sometimes during those moments of excitement that, that it really hits you the most. It matters the most because it's been built up for so long. This moment of like, I've been waiting for this song to come out, or this person to go on tour, to see them, or to do this, or to go there with my friends and do all kinds of stuff, And there's not a whole lot of moments that we get like that. I mean, we have a long, long life, but how often do we really take in or remember the most exciting moments for us? I guess if it's recorded, right? And that's when we should bring out the phone so that we can remember those bigger than life moments, But there's something to it. There's like maybe heavier and sadder moments. We really remember a lot more because it's we don't like feeling like that. But then when the excitement and the big things happen, it's kind of like a flash. It's like super, super quick. And unless you capture it, unless you really take it in or remember it on a constant day-to-day basis, it kind of just goes shoop. Which is why I think it's so important to just live in the moment and just take it in. That way you can always go back. But also, recording it isn't bad either. I think recording things it really helps you to relive it, and it really gives you like something substantial or like some visible proof of a story. You ever hear somebody tell a story and you're just like, oh, I would like to see that. I would like to see this person climbing Mount Everest, Imagine climbing Mount Everest and not taking a picture of it. It's like, I'm just supposed to believe you went all the way to Mount Everest, and I don't get it. Like, not that you shouldn't believe people, but it's just kind of like, oh, what a big thing. And it's just kind of like, you miss it, But I guess it is such a huge accomplishment. It's such a huge feat that you kind of, when it's a couple of days, couple of days journey, is it not? What I'm trying to say is that you can soak it all in as you climb each foot up the mountain, So, all in all, 2023 is going to be full of excitement, joy, laughter. It's going to be better than last year. I can guarantee that. It's definitely going to be better than last year. I don't know how, I don't know why, but something about this year just feels good. Now, I may come to regret that. And maybe I shouldn't even say that. Maybe I'm jinxing this year. Because before, I thought 2020 was going to be a good year, all right? I'll be real. I thought that was going to be a good year. Is 2020, I was thinking about, like, it was just a perfect moment, Like 1919. Like, that must have been a cool moment. And then the next time it's going to happen again will be 2121. And I'll be dead by then. It's like, come on. I'm not even going to get to enjoy it. So I thought 2020 was going to be this big deal, and it ended up sucking. So I think 2023 is going to be neutral. No big expectations. Just chill. Just a good line. Good solid line through the year, Whatever happens in between it, ups, downs, peaks, valleys, who knows, right? We don't know. But I'm really excited to be spending this new year, to be in this new year of 2023. And again, another huge, huge thank you to everybody who listens, even for just 1 second to this podcast. I want to say thank you for watching this on the YouTube, on my YouTube channel, the Win Your Podcast YouTube channel. It means a lot. Just because it's like, I don't really rewatch them, and like it's just when I see somebody else watching it, it just makes me feel like, okay, they watched it. It's like this level of accomplishment that I enjoy. So thank you so much for listening, for watching, and I'll see you guys all next time. Thank you.